All the cards for Hearthstone's newest expansion, Fractured and Alterac Valley, have been revealed, and we've seen some really powerful cards already, but which of them rank among the best? We're going to be going over that in this video, so stay tuned to find out. Welcome everyone, I'm Funky Monki, and all I do is off-meta homebrew deck building. So all these top 10 cards that you're about to see, I'm rating through the eyes as a deck builder, and how I determine how they're going to be in the top 10 is their versatility and their power level, as well as the ability to open up new archetypes in the class. And as far as the cards that you're about to see, I'm rating them in no particular order because they're all extremely powerful. And not only am I an off-meta deck builder, but I've actually vowed never to net deck to give you guys the most creative, unique off-meta ideas and perspective. So if you like that kind of thing, then consider subscribing. It helps support me for free, and you can always change your mind later. So without further ado, let's hop into the first card. So coming in at the first card is going to be Wind Chill. So it's just a simple 1 mana freeze spell which draws you a card in Shaman, and it doesn't look like a lot, but this single card actually opens up quite a bit in Shaman. Previously, Shaman had to rely on like elementals and nature stuff so that we can utilize things like the Primal Dungeoneer. Well, now them getting frost spells, and not only that, but frost spells that draw, can also open up other archetypes as well. Now we have another spell school to get drawing through Multicaster, and because this is a free spell, it helps slow down the game quite a lot, so that way it opens up a lot of new Shaman archetypes as well that can go towards that late game. Previously, Shaman was known for just like aggressive archetypes like Elemental Shaman or Doomhammer Shaman, but now that we can cycle through our deck and stall, we might be able to play like Nazath Shaman, maybe like that Yashiraj OTK. And along with this Wind Chill card too, I'm also going to be rating another card and kind of lumping it in with it, and that's going to be the Sleep Breaker, because it's an elemental that gives this Wind Chill card. Yeah, even though it's just a 1 mana card, I think it'll actually have quite a big impact for Shaman. And because Wind Chill is also a 1 mana card, you can get it through things like Wand Maker as well. And to top it all off, it does have synergy with the new Shaman legendary Baron Glacier. Headed into the second card is going to be another little simple 1 mana card, and it's going to be the Iron Deep Trog. Now it's not the kind of one drop that you can just slam into every single kind of deck, but if you can follow this up with like a buff on turn 2, it makes it so your opponent might not be able to kill him just in one straight spell, so you're going to get multiple copies of this guy. Like already you can play him in Hunter, followed up with like a Doggy Biscuit, played it in Paladin, followed up with like a Hand of a Doll or Priest powered Feast. And the cool thing about this guy is that not only is he good on turn 1, but he's also really good in the mid game too. Like imagine sticking like a Blessing of Authority onto this on turn 6. And one thing that makes this even better is if you're going first and you play him on turn 1, there's a lot of quest decks out there that like to play their quest on turn 1 as well. So if you play this against a quest deck, you're automatically getting 2 1/2 minions on turn 1. All right, so going into lucky number 3 here is we have the Shadow Crafter Scabs. Vanish is back, baby. And we'll remember, they actually had to rotate Vanish because it was so powerful. And now we get it with a 5 armor, and we get 2 4/2 stealth minions. And on top of that, on the turn that we play Scabs, we can press our hero power for 0 mana and still develop something for 2 more mana. So this card is just absolutely crazy by itself, but I really like it because it opens up some slower rogue archetypes as well. Like maybe now we can consider like some kind of slower Death Rattle archetypes, or even like the Thief archetype. It's just like a complete board reset, and you can even kind of think of it like a board clear temporarily, which rogue typically lacks. And I don't know any combos off the top of my head yet, but I just know somebody's gonna abuse that 0 mana hero power to come up with some kind of crazy shenanigans on a combo. Like who knows, maybe with like Octobot discounts and this new hero power, maybe we can enable some kind of crazy OTK with like Alexstrasza again or Mr. Smite. Like the hero power in this card is just too good not to be abused eventually. This next expansion is also pushing a lot of very board focused archetypes, which makes this card even better as well. All right, so for the fourth card is going to be Sidon the Scarlet, and oh boy, watch out for this guy. He is crazy good. He doubles all health given to him when you buff him, whether that's in the hand or on the field, and just a single +1/+1 buff makes it worth it. Makes him into a 4/4 minion. And we all know that Paladin has tons of buff spells. There's Hand of a Doll, there's the new Hold the Bridge. We can buff it up in hand with like Bannerman, and just imagine this. If this guy sticks onto the board going into like turn 5 and you slap a Blessing of Authority onto this, that's +16/+16 stats. I think he'll probably be played in every single Paladin archetype ever, maybe not Quest Paladin. And hopping over to another Paladin card here, we have the Lightforged Cariel. Her effect isn't really that crazy good, just a consecration, but it's her weapon and her hero power that make her insane. So her weapon is the immovable object, which is a 2/5 that can't lose durability, and you take half damage from everything. So not only is it a really good defensive tool, but but because it doesn't lose durability, you can attack for 2 damage every single turn. You could even use this aggressively, like that's just a free 2 damage to your opponent's face every turn, just like a hunter hero power. Or if you have to trade with it too, it makes trades less harmful. And the hero power is not to be slept on as well either. It's 2 mana to give +4/+4 to a random minion in your hand, but by turn 7 you probably don't have too many minions in hand, and you only have like the good ones like Mr. Smite. Like just a couple buffs on a Mr. Smite and you're already kind of looking for lethal. And this weapon almost forces people to run weapon removal in their decks, because if you don't, it's going to be a pain in the butt to try and kill paladins, especially ones that have a lot of healing like Libram Paladin. Going into our 6th card is going to be the Sigil of Reckoning. So it says at the start of your next turn, summon a random demon from your hand, and we know that Demon Hunter has some pretty big demons now. So obviously you can run this in a big Demon Hunter deck to cheat out your big demons even faster. But the cool thing about this is that it says at the start of your next turn, which means it allows you to combo stuff in the same turn as well. Like imagine you get like a Pit Commander for free on turn 6, then you can go ahead and like Faceless Manipulator to copy it, and it just provides some huge swing turns out of nowhere. You don't even have to run this in a big Demon Hunter deck too. You could just run this in any Demon Hunter deck that runs Illidari Inquisitor to cheat it out even sooner too. And also imagine this, if you get like an Illidari Inquisitor by turn 6, you Faceless Manipulator it, and then for 1 more mana you hero power to attack, that's 17 damage face to your opponent on turn 6. And not only that, but you have 2 8/8 rushers as well. I mean, this is the kind of card that will make you want to run Illidari Inquisitor in like every Demon Hunter deck. And one thing to note too, it is a Fel spell, so we can even tutor it with the Felgorger. All right, so the next card is going to be a warrior one. It's going to be Shield Shatter. It's a big 10 mana cost spell that gets reduced for every armor that you have, and it's a big 5 damage AoE clear. This is exactly what Control Warrior needed. Previously, it was really awkward sometimes to clear a really wide board for warrior. All you had was like Brawl, which leaves a minion alive, or you had like Blade Storm, which sometimes doesn't clear everything. But a big juicy 5 damage to all minions puts it on power worth like Soul Rend, which we know is crazy powerful. And it's not hard to gain armor in warrior now, because we do have the new Frozen Buckler, which for just 2 mana single-handedly enables this card. We also have like Heavy Plate, as well as just a plethora of other cards. And it is a 10 mana spell, so if we really wanted to, we can tutor this with like a Primordial Protector, and then we get a 10 cost minion with it. I don't know if that's very good, but we could also tutor it as well too with like the Herald of Loch Valar. Yeah, pretty much every slower archetype and warrior is going to want to run this card, because 0 mana deal 5 to everything is just absolutely insane, and it also allows you to develop behind it as well. For the next one, we have another hero. Dang, these things are good. We have Cartreuse. So with this guy, you summon 2 1/4 demons with Rush, and every single time you attack throughout the game, they get more attack when they summon. So if you attack 3 times up until the point you play Cartreuse, then all of a sudden you're playing 2 4/4s with Rush. By turn 6, oftentimes every Demon Hunter deck is going to be attacking at least a couple times, and if you just summon a couple of like 3/4s or 4/4s, you're already making it worth it. What makes this guy even more insane is the hero power. It has obvious synergy with like token stuff, because as you rush in with your little 1/1 rushers, you can just keep spamming your hero power and chunk your opponent down for a lot of damage. But honestly, even if you don't attack with anybody and you just press your hero power once, you're already getting more damage than you were before. If you were to attack with just 1 minion, all of a sudden this hero power does 4 damage. If you keep doing that over a few turns, that adds up really quickly. We do even have the possibility for an almost OTK with this card as well. So we can play Felfire Deadeye with expendable performers, and as long as there's enough opponent's minions to attack into, we can get up to 26 damage with this hero power. So it makes it really tricky for opponent to play any minions, otherwise you might be able to just go ahead and punch them for a ton of damage, similar to like ETC in Rush Warrior. All right, so the second to last card that's going to be on the top 10 is going to be Korak the Blood Rager. Now this card may end up being a meme, but on paper he looks absolutely bonkers. You have to honorably kill him, which means you have to do exact damage to kill him. So cards that just straight up kill him, like Coerce or like Siphon Soul or like Shadow or Death, don't actually kill him for good, and he'll just keep resummoning himself. And it gets even more awkward if you can buff him up as well. Like imagine this in Paladin, and you play him on turn 4, and then you Blessing of Authority him on turn 5, which means that you have to trade 13 damage worth of like spells and minions into him to kill him, otherwise he'll just keep coming back again. And he has further synergy with more death rattle stuff too, like in Rogue. You can tutor him with a sketchy information and immediately activate its death rattle, which will summon him. And it's even cooler if you have the new Snowfall Graveyard active too, so you can summon him twice. He has some really cool synergy in Priest, so he can keep getting resurrected. And he has some really cool synergy in Warlock with the new Tamsin's Phylactery as well. I mean, people might figure out how to play around him eventually, but he's going to be super annoying to deal with nonetheless. And for the final top 10 card is going to be another hero, and that's going to be Xyrella. I think people are really sleeping on her. Her effect is insanely good, especially with the synergy that we have around her now. So when played, she triggers the death rattle of every friendly death rattle minion that has died so far. That does include the Korak, which we just discussed, but it also has a couple of other new card synergy too. We can use the Undying Disciple, and we can use the Spirit Guide, along with a couple of other death rattles that we have before already, like the Light Shower Elemental, or like a Morg Forge Fiend. So imagine you have all those die, and then you play Xyrella. She draws you cards, she clears the board, and she's basically a Reno Jackson. Oh yeah, and she gets you 5 more armor and a new cool hero power. And the hero power is not to be slept on either. Sure, it flips, so you can't really use the damage or healing exactly when you want to, but over the course of the game, that's a lot of damage and a lot of healing. On average, every single turn, that's 2.5 damage, 2.5 healing. And that can give priests that finishing power that they previously lacked. You can do some other cool like meme stuff with her too, with like a Shadowed Spirit. If you build a deck around that and you have a ton of those Shadowed Spirits die throughout the game too, and then you play Xyrella, you may be able to just get like an OTK or just chunk them down for a ton of damage. But wait, there's more. I actually prepared 2 kind of honorable mentions that I figured were also very good that almost made the cut to the list. And one of them is going to be the Frost Saber, Matriarch, and Druid, because there's a few archetypes that this can go into which can be nutty. You can squeeze it into like a token Druid because the Glowfly Swarms are all beasts. So a single Glowfly Swarm turns this down to 0 mana. You could also play it in just like a Beast Druid deck that they're pushing now. And imagine this, you have a 0 cost Matriarch going into turn 5, and you play it for 0 mana, and then you also play a Menagerie Warden to copy that. So you have 2 4/5s to taunt and a 5/5 on the board. Or you can squeeze it in 0 mana on a turn that you're going to be playing Arbor Up. So you can just get some insane swing turns with this thing. And then the other honorable mention is going to be Frostbite. It's a 2 mana spell in Shaman that deals 3 damage. If you honorably kill a minion, it makes your opponent's next spell cost 2 more. I don't think we should be overlooking that effect. That's insanely strong. Making your opponent pay 2 mana more for their next spell, especially in the early game, is huge. It makes it so a paladin has to play 4 mana Hand of Adal, or it makes it so an aggro druid has to pay a 7 mana Arbor Up. Being able to mess with your opponent like that and making their next spell basically take up their entire turn just provides a lot of tempo. And not only that, but this card can also go face, and it is also Frost too, so we have like that multi-caster synergy and like the Baron Glacier synergy as well too. So that's gonna wrap up for the best cards in Fraction and Alterac Valley. Let me know if you agree with these or if you disagree with these down below in the comment section below. I'd love to know which ones I'm absolutely wrong on or which cards I missed. And if you found this video helpful and got some pretty good insight, let me know by leaving a like down below. That does help me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay funky.